we're really privileged that Sammy Wilson is going to say a few words to his thoughts. One of a tiny number, 3 I think it was, MPs that bravely fought against this lunacy. Sammy, the floor is yours.
First of all, I wasn't actually expecting to come along and say anything.
You paid for your ticket.
When I heard that this event was on, the Freedom Association had sent me the details. First of all, I'd always wanted to come to see this part of the country. And secondly, I have read so much of what Christopher has written. I want to say something about that in a moment, because he has been a great source of information in my battle against the climate change fanatics, that I wanted to come and hear him in person after having read what he has said. And I also would like to thank you for the very warm welcome that you've given me here this evening. It's a bit different from the welcome I got at the Friends of the Earth dinner. Actually, I'm the favourite of the Friends of the Earth in Northern Ireland. I have been awarded the Environmental Vandal of the Year award. And as far as I know, I'm in the running for a hat-trick this year. The first time I won it, they said, could they presented to me in the Great Hall at Stormont. And I said I'd be very happy to. And they said, would you mind if the TV cameras came so that we can do the presentation? I said, yes, I'd love to. It would give me an opportunity to maybe get the message over. So they came and they handed me this huge big globe. It was the world and the nuclear power stations dotted all over it. And on top of it, a model car from a big tractor sitting on top of it. And the girl handed me, she's a very pretty girl, she handed it to me. And I felt sorry afterwards, actually, because I said to her, are you from the Friends of the Earth? And she said, yes. And of course the cameras were all rolling. I said, well, I don't think much of the award you've given me. And she said, well, what do you mean? I said, it's plastic. It's biodegradable. And from then it went kind of down. But anyhow, Christopher has been, I don't know how many of you read his column. This is not an advertisement, by the way, in the Sunday Telegraph. So I don't know how many of you read his column in the Sunday Telegraph on a weekly basis. I do. And it gives me ammunition which I can fire all round the place. And I suppose an Ulsterman really shouldn't be talking about fire. Decommission and everything else. But it gives me ammunition. I was telling them at the dinner table, I was the Minister for the Environment in Northern Ireland until about June. Everybody wanted me sacked, but I'm told I got promoted to finance, but I'd have preferred to stay in environment until the big tails there a bit more often. But anyhow, I had to go to a joint meeting because every so often all of the ministers in various capacities from all of the administrations in the British Isles, Irish Republic, Jersey, Isle of Man, Scotland, England, Wales and Northern Ireland go to joint meetings, and I had one in Jersey on climate change. And at it we were going to have one of the experts from the Met Office coming along to tell us what was happening to global temperatures and how it was getting out of control, and if we did not cut the emissions very, very drastically, by 2030 we're all going to be frying. So anyhow, we were leaving the hotel, and there's a bit of an irony here, actually, because we left the hotel and we're going to this beautiful castle, and it was around the other side of the island. So they took us for a tour of the island in a Daimler, which did about 8 miles to the gallon. I was sitting with him and the Environment Minister from Wales, Jane Davidson, and we were talking about his computer models and everything else. And I was saying, he was saying, we'll have to cut down the emissions. And when I pointed out to them, and Jane Davidson was telling me that she travels to work in her office in Cardiff or wherever it is, once a week by push bike, and I told her after this journey around Jersey, she'd have to do it about 5 days a week because the CO2 emissions she'd put into the air was being compensated for by her journey. But anyhow, he was talking about climate, about the computer model, and just 2 weeks beforehand, Christopher had an article in the Daily Telegraph where he had shown how wrong the Met Office got it. 2007 was meant to be the warmest year. And yet in 2007, all of the global warming for the previous, I think it was 100 years, was lost because the average temperature went down by 0.7 degrees. And then last winter was meant to be the warmest winter. And of course we all know what happened last winter. And indeed, because the Met Office got it wrong, half the councils didn't get in enough grit. And of course this year was meant to be a barbecue summer. And they got it wrong as well. You'd think they'd give up trying after that. And I asked him, how did you make these? What do you do this on? Oh, he said, we've got a model. I said, is this the same model you're going to talk to us this morning about? About what's going to happen in 2050? Yes, that's the same model. So, I didn't say anything. If I would have actually had the renewal ministers were in and he had given all these dire warnings, and so then I asked him the question, how did you get this? Go through the model. What model is this? Is this the model you've made all these predictions for 2050 on? Well, how come you got it wrong for the summer, and last winter, and 2007? And the explanation was, it's easier to predict 50 years ahead than what it is 5 months ahead. Now, the only reason why it's easier to predict, if you get it wrong in 50 years, you're not around it. But in 5 months, of course, you have to give an explanation for it. Anyhow, I have found his books and the information very, very useful. So, if you want to have the arguments, I'm going to do an advert for you here, Christopher, since you're so nice to me. Read the books. The first, I'll tell you, the first book that I read where I'd seen some of these things challenged was his book Scared to Death, which of course deals with an awful lot of other issues as well. But the chapter on climate change is masterful. And it's well footnoted, plenty of references. And I used it to great effect in the Northern Ireland Assembly because, of course, as the Environment Minister, because of my climate change scepticism, I finished up having votes of no confidence in me. I was called before the committee, the Environment Committee, and they put a vote of no confidence in me because I had refused to use in Northern Ireland the Act on CO2 ad that had been produced by DEFRA here in England. And I said that, look, as far as I was concerned, I was quite happy for people to save energy, but I wasn't going to attach to it all of this climate change nonsense, and therefore I wasn't going to use it. So I was pilloried for it and everything else. And a vote of no confidence was had in me. You know, I suppose this is when I think of how do I counter the climate change argument. Christopher's given you an expert rundown tonight on the science behind it, the people who have done the research, the scientific theories and everything else. But, you know, I usually try and look, first of all, at what is the impact going to be on people's lives? And secondly, what are the inconsistencies on the part of those who claim to be climate change zealots, and yet their lifestyles are totally different?